I'm Hokey Joker.
Bat Drew.
Green Lantern.
And welcome to Just Us Bros Podcast.
Yeah. So when it comes to any franchise anywhere being the big bad for Batman, that we're going for a singular entity to take down Batman. I feel like I should go last on this. Green Lantern, would you like to go first?
Grimace. No, that's a joke. Mine, I went with an anime and I went with the Naruto universe. And I know you guys haven't really watched much of that, but Madara Uchiha, who has the power of the Sharingan and the Rinnegan, can pretty much manipulate space-time itself, can go to alternate dimensions, can create illusions, can see your moves before you make your moves. So you throw a batarang, they know where it's going to land, they know where it's going to hit to avoid it. Um, and they've died and come back from the dead. So Madara Uchiha would be my number one that I'd like to see Batman fight. And so just describing those abilities, how would Batman defeat that foe? Again, space-time manipulation, alternate pocket universe that he can go into, ability to predict your moves before you make them so that you throw a punch, they know where it's going to land, they know how to counter it immediately.
Batman visits his friend Superman at the and gets the
Batman
Phantom
cannot
Blimp
receive help from anyone.
If you're gonna take away his brawn, he's gonna use his mind somehow. He's gonna figure out some way with his mind. That's how I would think it would take him out.
I was gonna say get the Phantom Projector, so you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say any tools in his armory or belt or anything like that.
Well, then I'll go with the 1966 Adam West Batman, who has everything in his belt that he absolutely needs, and he has a Phantom Zone projector in his in his utility belt. But that's a cheat code, so
I think he would need to almost go Ultra Instinct and more rely on his combat abilities to maybe Batman's known for his brain and his abilities, but maybe turn off his brain so that his movements aren't as predictable because the whole premise
oh,
behind the Sharingan is you predict their moves, but if your opponent doesn't know their moves, you can't predict the move that's unpredictable.
like Batman Zero R.
Huh?
Batman Zero R.
Zeranar?
You know the Batman with the purple cowl, the red suit, the one that like goes into that deep state when he can't trust himself.
I'm not familiar.
You know Batman.
You know the costume, but you don't know what
I
he's
know the
talking about.
costume you're
Here,
talking about.
We'll flash it here, and we'll have a brief little boom right there about
So he
his
kind of
abilities.
turns off his mind and just fights automatically. Like,
Yes.
that would be the only way that he'd be able to stand up hand to hand combat. But then again, space time, he can kind of go between dimensions.
But also, would Batman be able to have the abilities from the Naruto universe here too, or is he still just pure human?
If they were fighting on our turf, or our turf, if they were fighting on DC Universe turf, probably not. But if he were to go there, I can see Batman like seeing them do the hand signs and being like, "Oh, this guy just did this hand sign and he spit out a fireball," and Batman pretty much immediately being able to see any hand signs and reproduce them. So that's my take on that. So if they were in the Naruto universe, I can see Batman pretty much throwing any move back at his opponent. In our universe, I don't know. Or I guess if they were throwing hand signs in our universe, he'd be able to do the same thing. But yeah, let's say he can watch and learn, kind of like Prometheus. Once you watch a move or a fighting style, you learn it. It would be the same thing with Batman.
Gotcha. So, Bat Drew, who's your number one big bad that could take down Batman, and how would Batman take them down?
Well, I thought about this long and hard, if you know what I mean.
That's what she said.
And I went to no, it's not. And I went to the Continental universe about 20 to 30 years in the past, where a young Baba Yaga is working for a crime boss, and his organization is being undertaken by this bat vigilante, where he's causing all kinds of chaos. And his bosses are like, "This guy is stopping with he's messing with our money. You need to mess with him and take him out." And that's how we get Batman versus Mother John Wick, which, like I said, 20 to 30 years in the past. So this is young Baba Yaga. So, man, just both of that would just be one hell of a fight that I would love to see. And I was about to ask, how would you guys say the Batman will win? But somebody just left.
I'd cut that shit out.
Welcome back. What?
He's an
Well,
extra.
so yeah. So, how would you guys think Batman would stop the Baba Yaga?
John Wick himself.
No pencils allowed.
Well,
I think
Batman. Mhm.
I was just gonna say I think it would be a hell of a fight. Hand-to-hand combat would be very. I think they'd be on equal footing. Um, Batman would have to pull out some batarangs. He'd have to pull out some tricks from his belt. John Wick, of course, is going to be prepared. So, question: in your scenario, is Batman ultimately responsible for the killing of John Wick's dog?
Don't do it.
No,
That's where I was gonna
He
go.
is
That's
not.
where I'm gonna go.
He is not. He's just a man that is stopping the crime flow in right now New York, and John Wick, his bosses are like, "You got to stop him," and John Wick does what John Wick does, or tries to.
Again, I think it would be very, very close to being equal on hand-to-hand combat. Um, if they're fighting in Gotham, I think Batman's got the upper hand. Um, again, I still feel like Batman would win. I just don't know how it would be. Like I said, it'd be a very bloody battle. And I think Batman would have to
Really.
end up restraining John Wick because obviously he's not going to kill him. Um, is John Wick out to kill Batman?
Of course, because he's the Baba Yaga. So he's got his guns, he's got his tactics, he's got his knives, swords, whatever he needs. He's ready to use his environment to try to take down this bat vigilante so he can start his money flow with his crime business again.
Oh man, so he attacks Batman in the Batcave and uses like the giant Penny and the T-Rex and even Alfred against him.
But yeah, because when I was thinking about this matchup with them being a young John Wick 30 years ago, that too also puts a young Bruce Wayne Batman into this scenario as well. So he's maybe, I wouldn't say year 2, maybe year 5, maybe year 10, maybe he's been Batmaning for a while. So he's still young, he's still learning, but he is still the Batman. And I actually do think that his suit, the cape, John Wick is definitely going to use that against him. So I was like, oh man, that really might actually put Batman at a disadvantage being in like his full gear. And especially since, John Wick has guns, has that entire arsenal that he has of whatever he needs. So it would be a great physical fight. But I think at the end of the day, um, Batman being a younger Batman, he is still going to maybe not pull his punches as much as he would being an experienced, older Batman. So he might be just as brutal, if not more brutal, than John Wick, knowing that one, he's got to stop this crime in the city. So he's going to take him down. He's going to keep that mentality in him. And also, he doesn't like guns. John Wick loves guns. So that's going to be an incentive to bring this baddie down because he's like, I do not agree with what you're doing wholeheartedly. The guns, the crime, the criminals, whatever. I must stop you. So I think that this Batman may use less. Well, he's still going to use his brain, but I think he may this for this fight. He's definitely going to use more brawn than brain power to stop John Wick. Viaga.
I think what he would do is he would reach into his Adam West utility belt
Oh
and
my
pull out
God.
a puppy and say, "This is Ace the Bat Hound," and John Wick would be like, "Whoa, a puppy? You're all right." That was my solution all the time. Ace the Bat Hound.
Can we please shoot a short skit where you're John Wick and you use that voice as John Wick?
Whoa, excellent!
What?
And as long as I can do the air guitar.
It's a puppy.
Or what if they're fighting, like literally fighting to the death, like blow for blow, like they got each one of them has part of their eye hanging out of the socket. I mean, they're like both on the brink of death. Like it's a brutal battle. And something happens, John Wick makes an explosion, and Ace is caught in it. Ace is in the Batcave, he's caught in it, and Batman runs to his side to try to save Ace, like to shelter the debris from falling on Ace. Batman goes to like save his dog, and John Wick's like, "What? You sacrifice your life to save your dog," and that ends the
Well,
fight.
It would end in a stalemate.
Yeah, exactly. That was my thing. I mean, John Wick
But
has a soft
I
spot.
painted the background for you.
Ooh, actually, another thing too, like and maybe instead of him saving Ace, um, like what if by the end of the fight, John Wick is stopped, Batman has got him under control, and in true Batman fashion, he's like, I respect your abilities and what you do. Well, not what you do, but what you do. And tries to, in Batman fashion, convert him to join the light side of the
And be
justice
a
system. And then
Robin?
they become not so much a Robin, maybe more like an ally. Like actually turn John Wick to the good side. And then like he grew away from guns, but still had his martial arts training and whatnot. And Batman like gadgeted him up, and the two Baba Yagas help clean up the streets. That would be great too. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And then he's named the
Where the
Wicker
fight-
Man. He's the Wicker Man. He's Nicolas Cage.
Oh God.
Okay, so I have two, but I'm gonna give you the first one and want to see what you guys have to say about it.
Honestly, I didn't know you were still talking. I haven't been paying attention to you at all.
So the number one Batman villain, not even Batman villain, but villain of DC as a whole, Rotten Tomatoes.
That's not a villain.
I said entity. But if you want, I have a second one ready to go.
Well, okay. How is he going to defeat Rotten Tomatoes?
Create a movie
movies?
like the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
He's already done that.
Or he goes and like gets rid of all the critics for Rotten Tomatoes and gets real viewers.
You mean the ones that are paid by Disney to hate on DC? Yeah, sure.
I don't know
No,
about
the ones
that,
that will
but
make a podcast and talk about this stuff.
the
Exactly, but-
critics are not the fans.
Exactly. But actually, my second one is the Source Wall.
What?
The Source Wall from DC Comics.
That's like saying, okay, defeat the Big Bang.
Exactly. I'm just saying that's still a DC Comics character of sorts.
What would be the context? Like what would he have to fight the Source Wall for?
Well, they just look at it and say, well, Bruce Wayne, life's a little too good for you. Wipe it all out, and he's trying,
What?
and he has glimpses of memories of that past life or whatever comes to it. Like the Source Wall is a pretty undefeatable DC opponent.
So first thing he does is he goes into his arsenal and I don't know how he got it, but he pulls out a White Lantern ring, because that was
Or
created by the Source.
or the Mobius chair, which he has used before.
He's used that before. Maybe he gets that too. Maybe he gets the Mobius chair, the White Lantern ring, and he goes and finds a way to do it.
But
Well, honestly, we
that-
all know he's going to go to his 1966 Adam West utility belt and pull out an
you're damn
eraser
right he will.
and just
You're damn right.
erase the source wall from existence.
So the Source Wall separates this universe from, I guess the Source Wall separates the Omniverse from other pre versions of the Omniverse. So again, him fighting the Source Wall, even if he were able to break it, he would destroy the universe or completely re-alter the universe. It would be another crisis situation.
But can't you see Batman doing that?
With the power of the Mobius chair and a White Lantern ring, and he even goes and gets the Thanos gauntlet, probably.
No. But I thought that was a pretty good one. I mean, did Source Wall even cross your guys' mind? So, or Rotten
Nope.
Tomatoes even cross your mind? Yeah.
Nope, and I wouldn't know why it would.
Okay.
Well, I'm just
How does he fight life?
saying though, if
With a batarang.
Barbatos, I'm saying if Barbatos, an entity, can come out of the ground and like create this whole entity to take down Batman, and Batman's across the multiverse, wouldn't the Source Wall have a vendetta against him?
Well, I'm assuming the Source Wall would create some kind of physical manifestation for him to fight. But
I'm just saying,
I don't. And wouldn't that be in recent comics? Wouldn't that be Perpetua?
yeah. And somehow he still won.
Yeah,
Even
he's
dead,
Batman.
he's still he. Because I'm Batman. This is going to be a long video, but I think it's a
So
good one.
He just goes and creates another universe. That's it.
You damn right. I mean, people don't want to admit it, but Batman is just immortal. No, Batman is a god in the DC universe.
All right, how would Batman take down Omni-Man?
He would. Oh, I don't know how Batman would take down Omni-Man, but because Darkwing is sort of there, but I always felt like Darkwing wasn't like Batman. He would like go and seduce his wife and then like make him jealous and then hire a bunch of
I don't know about you, but
superpower
if somebody tried to seduce my pet, my dog, I would probably want to hurt them more.
but he wouldn't do it unless he had a backup plan. So he would have like whatever the Viltrumite weakness is, the kryptonite of Viltrumite. So Viltrumite,
I was gonna say Viltrumite, Vegemite.
Vegemite.
Batman
yeah.
would do his research, figure out his mother's name, Omni-Man's mother's name, and say, "That's my mom's name. You're a human now. I've humanized you," and then Omni-Man will lose all of his powers.
I think Batman would take Mark under his wing and teach him some like real martial arts, hand-to-hand combat, and almost train Mark to
Make
Be
him
a-
Mark,
be a
make Mark
Robin?
Robin.
yeah,
Yeah.
but a Robin with powers of Superman or Viltrumite.
Speeding bullets all over.
How would Batman fight Megatron?
He would make
recruit G.I. Joes
allies.
for help.
Yeah,
Well, he would-
Megatron and the army of the Decepticons.
He would make friends with Optimus Prime and get one of the Autobots to become a transformer of the Batmobile.
Well, in the newest Transformers movie, I forgot what it's called, Rise of the Beasts. They pretty
Sure.
much make a mech suit for a human, so Batman would side with the Autobots and have them create him a mech suit made out of a transformer. So that's how he would start. But also,
And-
we just missed this season. Batman taking down Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees or friggin' Leatherface, man, because the Power Rangers would have handled him quickly. But
Yeah.
ChatGPT said no. I think I'm drunk off of milk.
I mean, I think in any of those, Michael Myers, Leatherface, and ChatGPT, I think he could beat all of them. Wait, who was the third one?
Uh, Jason
Jason.
Voorhees. Jason Voorhees.
Jason.
Yeah.
I think as far as hand-to-hand combat, he's got them all beat. They're all cunning, they're all stalkery, but again, if it came down to it and they're in a 1v1 situation, I think Batman would outsmart all three of them in hand-to-hand combat,
Mhm.
be able to take them all down.
And two of them being somewhat immortal. He has
Yeah.
experience fighting somebody like that with Solomon Grundy. So he would know how to handle that too.
Vandal Savage, Ra's al Ghul, kind of. I mean, because he can revive himself. So he's got the
Yeah.
immortal.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're talking while you just looking at porn or something. What are you doing?
Can't
Are you
do
trying
that.
to eat it?
No, I'm just like looking and seeing. I sort of spent my good source walls and all that shit on
Just name a character that you want to see fight Batman that you've never seen fight Batman before. Any universe, any medium. CW, Oliver Queen. How does he fight Batman? I mean, we kind of saw it.
Arrow. Stephen Amell would get his shit rocked. And it depends on which Batman is.
Kevin Conroy, R.I.P.
I mean,
Because his Batman was very intimidating on the crossover.
it was.
Do you think if they actually fought, like 1v1 to the death, would Stephen Amell win or would Kevin Conroy have won?
In that scenario, Stephen Amell would have, because just arrow through the head. But I'm looking at how would Homelander do against Batman. I mean, because Homelander's got the whole media empire behind
World
him.
in his hands.
He can say Batman's a fascist, and he'll appeal to his public and talk about how even though they're both very similar, one of them has powers, and Batman's a villain, even though he's very similar to Black Noir.
I think Batman could use his stealth and use his IQ to beat Homelander. I think he'd find a reverse compound V, like something that
Compound Z.
gives the supes the powers, something that either takes the powers away or weakens them to put them on a level playing field. I think Batman could reverse engineer something like that and put them on a level playing ground.
And since we've seen in Gen V that there is something like that, like a virus that can weaken supes, Batman would somehow figure out a way to create that or get a hold to that and use that against Homelanders.
Now, without him using that, I don't think he'd stand a chance. He'd have to do something to weaken Homelander. But as far as hand-to-hand combat, Batman would have him as far as skills go.
When it comes to the laser vision or the super strength flying and all that stuff, it's hard to compare against. But like when you look at The Boys, where they injected Compound V, they were trying to match it and bring it down. But Batman would be the one to, like, what's the opposite? What can I do to bring that down? But because Homelander hasn't really had a weakness shown yet, unless Batman had a gallon of milk and like threw it at him or something.
And I can almost see Batman as a last resort injecting himself with V, see what that does.
And wouldn't that be interesting to see what superpower Batman would get? Because it seems totally random.
You
Because
can use echolocation. That's it. What?
yeah, like Billy Butcher got super strength. Huey got invisibility and teleporting. So that's it's interesting.
I can see in the dark now, literally.
So I don't know what Compound V would do to Batman. I mean, there was a fan theory, something along the lines of it reveals what like hidden genes that you had like going on. Like for example, it said like Huey injected himself and he's invisible. Well, maybe his mom was a soup and had invisibility traits hidden in her genes. That
Or
would that
even
would be something.
if
Yeah.
or even if Batman brought something from his universe, Venom, and maybe inject himself with Venom. Would that be enough to take down Homelander though? Well, I guess we'd have to find out.
I
Or
don't
the
think
Phantom
so.
Zone projector. Or the Phantom Zone projector.
Or
From his
what if
utility belt.
what if he has? You mentioned Venom. What if he has the symbiote from the Marvel universe or the Sony cinematic universe, whatever you want to call it? But he has the Marvel Venom symbiote, and he gets Venom powers. Would that be enough?
Oh, I'm just gonna say a Venom Batman would be kind of badass.
Bat ass.
Badass.
Badass.
Venom. Venom.
It remains to be seen because Homelander doesn't have any weaknesses that we've seen other than being overpowered. So I think that would be something that we'd have to watch out for. I don't know.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, good night, son of a motherless goat.
Night spelled
So-
like a cake.
So, guys, who would your rogues gallery be for Batman and Gotham, DC as a whole, and just one villain overall? Please like, comment, and subscribe. We would love to hear from you. Anyway, guys, I'm Hokey Joker.
That true.
Green Lantern.
Until next time, guys. Cheers.
You guys like my notepad?